Hello everyone and welcome to Automation in BeamNG Drive. My name is Tim and today we're going to be building something that is actually really special to me. I'm going to make my true idea of what my favorite car is. A car that I would personally buy over any other car in the world if it actually existed. Basically, we're building my dream car. We're going to make it carbon fiber. We're going to give it all the light stuff. Everything is going to be carbon fiber because I want this thing to be really light, monocoque, and yeah, I'm just going to go through all the frames looking for the smallest transmission tunnel. Yeah, we're going to do that. Mid-transverse, actually no, mid-longitudinal, because why not? And for rear suspension, I'm probably thinking of push rod or double wishbone or something along those lines. And unfortunately, I could not do that because the engine I wanted to put in was a 3.8 liter V12. And yeah, for some reason, that's too big to be mid-engine in this thing. So yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to put it up at front. The coupe configurations of the vehicles do allow for a mid-engine setup, but I don't want a coupe. I want a wagon. And also, if you're wondering what that 3-liter V12 engine was, that 3.8, that is basically the turbine thresher engine, but naturally aspirated. So yeah, it makes about 600 horsepower and all, probably about, I want to say, like 380 pound-feet of torque. Not the best, but also not the worst. And yeah, I'm just modding the vehicle. We're going to paint it bright orange because, well, that's my favorite color. And we're going to give it, well, black accents on it because black has a really good contrast and all that from orange. And yeah, basically I'm just trying to figure out what the best design elements would be for this thing. And when it's done, I feel like it's going to be really spectacular. And also, unlike my other cars, I'm going to be spending a whole lot longer actually working on this one because, after all, this one right here is pretty much my magnum opus. My dream car, my idea of a dream car, pretty much. And this thing, I want it to be near perfect. I want it to be really, really good. So yeah, right now we're just doing some light rear fixture stuff like that. We're going to give it an all-wheel drive system because, yeah, I don't think four-wheel drive will work good with a 12,000 RPM V12. And yeah, there's the beautiful, beautiful engine right up there. It's gorgeous. And we're not going to do a continuous. We're going to do a sequential and a 7-speed. And the reason I'm choosing a sequential, it's kind of like a manual. It's kind of like an automatic. And particularly what I'm thinking of is if I ever turn this into a real car, which is an if, I want it to have a clutched sequential. So 3 pedals, but it's not as complicated as a manual. And that's one of the reasons why. And yeah, we're just going to do whatever differential is the best. In all honesty, I'm probably either going to do a manual differential or an open one. We're going to do the power split 35 to 65. Nice. And we're going to do radial sports compounds because I want to be able to drive this in the rain in some capacity and not just spin out and all that. And to be fair, I've driven my turbine thrasher in the rain in BeamNG Drive, and that thing has semi-slicks on it. So, yeah, this thing is going to have much better handling because it's significantly less power and all that. But I feel like the rear wheels aren't wide enough. They're only 365s when they should be 395s, and this is something I don't like about automation. They limit your maximum tire width to 395, when I know for a fact you can get much wider tires, because these bodies demand wider tires. One day, I want to see 555 tires on a car. And now, here we have it, our beautiful 395s. Just, it's a wonderful, wonderful tire diameter. It's truly, truly incredible. And we're going to give it 6-piston carbon ceramics up front. We're also probably going to do the exact same for the rear, other than less pistons and overall smaller size. And also less force for less brake fade, because rear brakes are better than no brakes, to my knowledge. And we're going to make everything max quality because this is my car. I can do what I want. And Yeah, I'm not sure what I want for an under tray. I'm probably considering on using a race under tray for a diffuser and all that, because I want this thing to make plenty of downforce, because if possible, I want to take this thing around the Nurburgring, because I had recently downloaded a new Nurburgring map into BeamNG Drive that will replace the old Caribbean Hell Ring, which is basically the Nurburgring but on a beach. Yeah, we're gonna do probably less seats in order to save weight, but we're gonna have the rear seats just in case, because I want this thing to be slightly, slightly appealing to the public, because at the end of making this, you're gonna get a number that will tell you how many of these vehicles you sold. The Turbine Thrasher, I think, is a literal 0 on this. And yeah, this thing right here, it's probably going to get like 0 as well, because there's going to be a bunch of suspension stuff I'm going to have to do. We're going to do basics 2010 safety because, well, I have driven cars from the early 2010s and before that, and they weren't exactly the highest in safety, so yeah, it's what I'm known to and what I'm aware of. And we're going to do, I don't know, active whatevers and stuff like that. Make this thing have just enough ride height so that the comfort is probably in double digits. I don't know. And now we commence with the fixtures. And yes, this footage right here, you're looking at that right. This is 250 times sped up. That's because in footage for making the fixtures alone, I spent nearly 9 hours designing this vehicle. Yes, nearly 9. In fact, here is the footage of this video in CapCut, unedited, in its raw form. It's almost 9 hours long, and a vast majority of it is the fixtures. And also, of course, I did some off-camera work as well, but I dare you to spot some off-camera work right now. I dare you. You can't because it is so difficult to find at this speed. And also, yeah, as of right now in the footage, I'm currently working on an interior, and I'll describe the vehicle more later. But yeah, that was one moment of silence, one moment of still, where you can get an idea of the progress of the vehicle. And so far, the interior is going pretty good right now. I'm adding some blocks and some, like, basic blocks in there in order to add some features. Of course, we have our shifter in there. Very, very important for a sequential car. And also, I'm adding vents in here that are redesigned and purpose to either be speakers or air conditioning vents and stuff like that. And also, we're going to put them on the dashboard as defrosters, basically. And also, there's going to be a bed at the very rear of this vehicle. And no, I am not kidding. In the back, there is a literal bed that you could sleep in. There were times when making this vehicle that I kinda had to get a bit creative. For example, the exhaust pipes right there were actually moved in by a 3D space rather than just placed on willy-nilly. I used some of the mod pack items, such as the hydraulic handbrakes as well, interior door openers, and now I think it's complete. It is finally here, and I'm gonna say it, it is truly beautiful in my opinion. The rear might be polarizing to some, but I don't care. It's a vehicle that I truly love. It's a vehicle that I just think is awesome. And of course, it's called the 2716 GT. And as always, let's take it to BeamNG Drive! This time, we're going to start out in the grid map. This is because I want to get a better look at the vehicle in a three-dimensional space and all that. Not just spinning. I want to be able to get closer to it through mouse movements and stuff. Now yeah, there's a lot of things in this vehicle that make it truly awesome. And here's just how fast it is right here. Okay, it's been like 3 seconds and we're already we're past 100 now. Like, this thing, I remember it saying in automation that this thing can pull 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds because of just how good the traction in this thing is. And we're basically already at 200 miles per hour right now. And unfortunately, it does top out at 220 something, but Knowing BeamNG Drive, it's probably not going to go that fast. But hey, let's at least admire the sound of this thing. It's a really good sounding vehicle in my opinion. Taking off the turbos definitely probably improved it. And one thing I want to show you is this. This is the view from the bed, and I'm going to take a guess one of the reasons it's so loud out here is because the game technically registers the area where the camera is located as kinda outside the car or something like that. There's probably a bounding box inside the vehicle for sound and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a little confusing in my opinion, but hey, it's pretty cool nonetheless. And as we continue to drive the vehicle, we can notice that it spins pretty good, and if you spin enough, this thing will go up on 2 wheels, and it's awesome when this thing goes on 2 wheels. Like, it's genuinely really cool, and it is just truly, truly awesome right now. This is like one of the coolest things ever. Like, I love when you can do that. And now, onto the Hochi Raceway. 3, 2, 1, let's go! We're already at 60 miles per hour, and it's been, what, like a few seconds already? Yeah, this vehicle is really, really fast. Like, I'm probably actually going to consider on leaving a link in the description for a download for this vehicle, but yeah, downloading vehicles from BeamNG Drive mod websites is a kind of frustrating process, all things considered, and this vehicle right here, it does handle really well. I think it's a mix of really good traction on the tires, overall good steering, really good suspension, pretty darn good aerodynamic system and all that. Yeah, it can't reach 220 something miles per hour, but that's okay. 207 is still really good for something like this, even though this thing also only weighs like 800 kilograms, so technically it should go faster, but who am I to judge? This thing handles so well that I kind of don't even care in some capacity. And now we're on our final turn, and let's go, let's take it full send. Okay, we did it. Okay, let's see what our time was, and 1 minute and 9.192 seconds. That's my second best time, and that a month ago thing, on the bottom and on the top of our time, that's the purpose-built race car. The Skalavra T10 is its official name, but yeah, I'm keep referring it to the purpose-built race car because, well, that's exactly what it is. And now, let's go to the drag strip. We're going to start off with the Turbine Thrasher because something about it's been not right lately. It's been having a lot of stability issues of going in a straight line at full send, which is pretty realistic, but yeah. Right now, we're beating our opponent pretty good, but not exactly good enough in my opinion, because this thing has like 5 times the power, at least. It should be doing better, and also, that's still a pretty good time, all things considered. And, of course, our brakes suck, and this thing just, yeah, our reaction time was not good either, so let's just do another vehicle. That's right, our Turbine Thrasher wagon, or the 2716 GT, versus a Torque Master. Now keep in mind, that truck is like 5,000 horsepower, but it also weighs 7,600 pounds, and has the aerodynamics of a brick. Like, I'm fairly certain that thing is actually less aerodynamic than a Cybertruck, which is for some reason, I remember reading somewhere, it has a coefficient of drag of 0.48, which is actually surprisingly good for a pickup truck, all things considered. And, yeah, they're gonna crash into a wall. Our reaction time wasn't the best this time. And now, let's race against the Mordwagen. The Mordwagen is basically a gangster mob car, essentially. And let's go! Okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna lose against them, because, after all, they have 1,900 horsepower and weigh next to nothing. We have only 600 to deal with, but 600's pretty good for this thing. And let's see... Yeah, they did actually pretty good. I think they got almost the exact same time as the Turbine Thrasher earlier, which got like an 8-point-something second quarter mile because stability issues and stuff like that. But yeah, we failed. Our reaction time wasn't that good. And now, let's try a new foe. That's right, the V10 Turbine Thrasher right here. The V10 Turbine Thrasher is based off of my original automation car, like a single picture I made a long time ago. And let's go! Okay. Like, no joke, that car is based off of a singular picture that I have of the car, this one in particular, and it's a pretty cool car all the less. And when I made a video of it, I also drove it in Italy, so it's fitting to drive the exact same car in the exact same place. Well, not exactly, but the same location, nonetheless, and I think, oh, thank goodness it did not crash. Yeah, not good reaction time, and now we're gonna race our doppelganger this time, because, well, that's a tradition. We race our doppelganger, and let's go! Okay, we were definitely a little distracted, so reaction time is also not gonna be good, but, oh yeah, we're probably definitely gonna lose at this point or something like that. Oh, please, I just hope that, what? How did my vehicle, which got like a little, like, my vehicle was literally behind the entire time. How did it beat that one in time? But yeah, an almost second reaction time. That is horrible. And, well, since we just technically won, why don't we just run down the drag strip in a victory run real quick? Why don't we do that? We'll take this thing full send down the drag strip the other way, and it would be really bad if the other side of the drag strip happened to have a really tall gate that can't be passed over in. It's totally like there isn't, and anyway, let's go to the Nurburgring! Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go! Okay, this is our first of many turns, and also I had to practice this track, like, I want to say, like, 20 times or something like that, and so far we're doing pretty good right now, and, yeah, my goal, a sub 9-minute lap, because I tried my purpose-built race car on the old Caribbean Hell racetrack, which is basically a spin on the Nurburgring's nickname Green Hell. Yeah, I basically tried it on that one, the purpose-built race car, a long time ago, back when I first made it. I tried it on there, and I did about 8 minutes and 38 seconds, about as good as the original Acura NSX. So, hopefully we do better this time. We have less power, but overall, I think we probably have more stability, and we're flying through this thing right now. Probably not at the level of the Porsche 919 Evo Hybrid, which currently holds the record around the Nürburgring at 5 minutes and 19 seconds. Like, that thing is stupidly fast, all things considered. I saw a video of it going around the Nürburgring. It was stupidly fast, and we're going stupidly fast in the straightaways. In the corners, yeah, we do have to slow down and all that, and I remember in my practice, this part right here was probably my favorite part of the entire track, because you're going downhill, there's some slight curves, and you get to go like 160 miles per hour down this hill. It's wonderful, a truly magical experience, and yeah, I'm probably gonna stop talking at a certain point, just so you can watch me race around the Nürburgring and all that, and yeah, so you guys can gawk at my racetrack skills, because I just avoided that big ol' section, but come on, everyone would do that if you weren't in like a purpose-built race car that's like 0.6 millimeters above the ground. Like, seriously, yeah, we almost lost all of our traction in the grass. That would not be good at all. From practicing on this track, one thing I learned is that hitting the wall even lightly basically completely ruins your steering system so that it drifts slightly to a certain direction. Yeah, so I want to avoid the walls as much as I possibly can. And speaking of my earlier promise to stop talking while I do this race, I'm gonna do that once we reach the next checkpoint because, yeah, I want you guys to be able to enjoy this race as much as possible, to just watch the car, listen to it, and just enjoy my kinda mediocre driving skills. And anyway, let's go! Okay, right now we just passed our second last checkpoint right here, and we're about to cross the finish line. So far, we're at about 7 minutes and 45 seconds right now, so not exactly the best, but hopefully we can do a sub 8-minute lap. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully. Okay, 7 minutes 55. Oh yeah, that threw me off, okay, and we did it. We did it! We did it! A sub 8-minute lap. We did a sub 8-minute lap on the Nurburgring in a wagon. I cannot believe it. And for anyone who's wondering, the wagon that is the closest to being about this fast around the Nurburgring is the Audi RS4 Avant, which is a pretty good thing, all things considered. The fact that this thing is even able to be considered just as good as that is pretty neat, all things considered, but I would far consider this vehicle I made to be far better. I don't care about a Nurburgring lap time. This thing has a V12 in it, a naturally aspirated 3.8-liter V12 able to rev to 12,000 RPMs, and that's awesome. And also, unlike the Audi RS4 Avant, this car does not have an engine soft limiter, which, if you're wondering, a soft limiter is basically a device that prevents you from revving your engine. It's like that one scene from Jurassic Park, like the original one. Remember that scene in which the computer system is hacked and the message they get is, nah-uh-uh, nah-uh-uh. What's the magic word? It's basically that. Your ECU is basically telling that to your engine, so it's forced to go back to idle after reaching a certain RPM. So yeah, basically you can't rev your engine in park or neutral or however you rev your engine. Meanwhile, this beautiful vehicle that I made has no such thing as a rev limiter on it. You can rev it straight to 12,000 RPM in reverse, drive, neutral. You could do it in park. You could do it anywhere, any way you want, because I'm not a coward like that. And I'm not gonna bend to the whims of some World War I veteran geriatrics in government who are like, your car is too loud, even though I spent over $1 billion developing it from the ground up. If I spent that much money developing the car, I think it should be as loud as I want within reason. It can't be like 180 decibels, because that's technically loud enough to, no joke, kill you. That is technically loud enough to do that. And now, I think it's about right time to end the video. And as you can see right here, we have the Environments tab open for gravity, and we're just gonna drive out. My goal is to make the end of this video not a whimper, but rather a bang, unlike any other video I've made. In fact, this is supposed to be the most dramatic ending I'm ever going to make, because seriously, I'm gonna take this thing a couple thousand feet into the sky, then activate sun gravity so we fall into the ocean as fast as possible, and make a giant explosion on the way down, just like the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. Or so I thought, because I remember hearing that might not have actually happened, apparently. But yeah, let's not think about that right now, and just appreciate what this thing sounds like in third-person camera mode. Like, third-person free cam. It sounds really good, all things considered, and this is a really cartoony thing. And this is the inside. Okay, now we're back out, and ooh, I think the engine's having problems up this high because a lack of oxygen or something like that, which, if that's the case, that's actually a really cool feature. And now we're going to speed this up a little because I want to reach the point in which we can come back down, which I feel satisfied in how high we are above the ground. And I think right about this point, and let's change it to sun gravity and... Oh! Mayday! Mayday! We're in danger! We're in danger! We don't have any parachutes! Oh no! Oh no! This is the view from the bed. I see the suspension coming through, and oh my, the gravity is so strong. We can't survive! We can't survive! Oh no! Anyway, that's all.